Welcome back to Southwest Yard and Garden. We're still in the Gallup garden of Sid Gilson. And this is a very interesting garden in a challenging area. And Sid, this is beautiful. You've had to really work to create this garden.
Thank you, Curtis. We've put a lot of work into the soil and building the soil up to have bountiful harvest in plants.
You got no grass, but a lot of different plants. I know sunflowers right here.
Yes, we like the sunflower. They come up by themselves and we thin them out. The grass takes a lot of water, and it's hard for me to grow grass in Gallup.
So you just dispense with the difficult one and go with what actually produces something for you.
That's right.
And so you've got these here for the birds.
Yes, we let the seed pods stay on, and the birds come and enjoy them. They really like to get out here in the morning and the late evening, the finches, and eat this, and it's delightful. The butterflies and the hummingbirds with the bee plant that we have, they really enjoy it.
And so you do have a lot of diversity here over on this side of the garden. You've got the bee plant. Bees and hummingbirds love that.
Right.
And you know, bees make honey, so you don't grow honey here yourself, but somebody's making honey.
And they do pollinate all our squashes and things like that.
Okay, and then you've got corn and squash, tomatoes, amaranth, dill, asparagus. You've got a lot of things in
We've got
here.
some broccoli. We've grown just about every vegetable there is here, and then we've brought it down to what we enjoy eating and freezing.
But you've had to work to do it, and you've had to build this soil, and I'd like to go see what you've done here.
Very good.
So let's take a look at that.
Okay, fine.
Sid, I see some interesting things here in your garden. I see newspaper with straw on top of it, and then pieces of tires on top of that. How does this all work together?
We strive to keep our soil moist, so we take this tire rim and hold it down over the straw, and underneath the straw we have a paper mulch that we put down as wet newspaper. As you can see, this paper mulch keeps the soil nice and moist. You see there's an angleworm right there, a little red worm coming out. They love to stay under this soft paper mulch. And you can see what it does to our soil. There's some more worms, as you can see, the red worms. They just love to stay under that soil.
Ready to go fishing.
And they work and they keep that soil nice and moist.
Oh, look at that.
And that's Gallup soil after it's had the treatment.
And what's the treatment? How do you modify the soil so it really looks like that?
We have to use a lot of organic material. I've used over the years some horse manure, not too light because that breaks up real well. And the secret is keeping this mulch on and keeping the soil moist so we don't get the evaporation and the salt buildup.
Okay, and then in the fall, when you're through with the garden, you just rototill all this in?
In the fall, no, what we do is we lay cattle panels down, cut our corn stalks, cut our plants, and then I put the paper back over, and I put the cattle panels on it to keep the wind from blowing it, and let that sit there with a little more straw on it all winter, and it keeps the soil, again, from getting too dry, and it soaks up the nice snow.
Interesting technique for this part of New Mexico. And how do you irrigate your garden?
Well, we irrigate, as you can see, underground. This is the end plug of our underground water system. We have a plug here, and I take the plug out for the air bubbles to come out, and I've got holes in this pipe.
And that's buried under the soil.
It's buried under the soil. This is our little flag, so when the water comes, I know just how to plug it back in to put the water. And that's how I irrigate underground right alongside the plants.
So how much water comes through this when you're running it?
The secret is not to put too much water. Usually, you don't want the water to come out any more than a couple inches, and then a couple inches this way in terms of pressure. And the danger is getting it come out too fast. It's better to have it come out nice and slow.
Can you show us how you do that?
Yes, we can do that. As you can see, the water is coming out here, and it's about that far. That's all the water pressure we need, not very much. Then we take our plug that up nice and tight, and we've got it nice and tight, and then the water starts coming up underneath.
So Sid, you've plugged it now. Now the water has to come out the holes that you've got in this buried pipe.
Yes, we have 16th-inch holes every 6 inches along this pipe underground, about 4 to 5 inches underground. And then we have every 2 feet, we have a hose, another hose, and we can do four lines with one outlet. So this is the way we water, right underground.
And that's good. That keeps the water underground. It's not on the surface, so that you don't have as evaporative loss. And considering the water quality you've got here, you don't add surplus salt to the soil. So that's good for the soil.
That's right. And as you can see then with our paper mulch, we also keep it nice and moist as the water distributes out from the hose.
Can you water your corn that way, your squash that way? carrots, the tomatoes, everything in the garden's watered that
Everything
way.
is watered that way. And the tomatoes, what we do with the tomatoes is we just put the holes, cut the holes in the pipe underneath the tomato plants before we plant the tomatoes so that we know the water's coming right where the tomato plants are.
Well, Sid, thank you very much. This is information that'd be useful to gardeners all over New Mexico, not even northern New Mexico, but the whole state can use some of this information to conserve water and to have a very lush garden.
You're welcome.